Alrighty, everyone. Mesomat back here with another video for y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching this. It is September 9th, 2024 here. We are going to talk about the Tropics 1. If you guys can't see on your screen here, we have got 6 areas to watch now. The National Hurricane Center really starting to get busy here as we are in, once again, peak hurricane season month. That is for September and then toward the beginning parts of October here. We've got 6 areas to watch, 5 in the Atlantic Ocean and 1 in the Pacific Ocean that actually could bring some impacts towards Baja California and Mexico potentially as we go throughout the next couple of days. That's something we're going to watch as well. Severe weather on the lesser side of things, still talking about the overall pattern and what we're going to see throughout the month of September. I'll give you guys an update on that. But we're really going to talk about the tropics here, and we've got excessive rainfall still falling in parts of the coastline of Texas, Louisiana, into the Gulf Coast here, as we are expecting yet another area of development. The same area that we actually had marked by the National Hurricane Center a couple days ago. It disappeared, and now we've got it back again because this actually could redevelop into something. It's a low chance for all of these yellow circles that you guys see on the screen. Those are each areas that a storm could get named or developed. All of them are less than 30%, which is good news as of right now, and we'll kind of keep you guys updated on that as we go forward with the next couple of days with the videos and with the live streams. I do want to start over here on our farthest right area here. This is going to be a 10% chance of a storm developing here in the next 2 days, 20% chance in the next 7 days. Really not seeing much of anything right now. I'm really not looking at any organization. This one will probably be absolutely nothing. If it changes, we'll let you guys know. We're also going to watch one a little bit closer to home here, as we do have a potential area of invest here that could develop maybe over the next 7 days here. This is something we're going to watch right now. 10% chance in the next 2 days, or 0% chance in the next 2 days and 10% chance in the next 7 days. If something were to develop, it could kind of track toward the East Coast here. We'll keep you an update on this. Now, the most concerning one that I would say so far is going to be the one that's off the East Coast here of the Carolinas, or all off the East Coast of the Mid-Atlantic here. And this has actually got some pretty deep convection going with it right now. You can actually kind of see that cloud of circulation that's developing here. We're looking at a lot of convection developing. This is going to potentially maybe become something and then kind of be a floater storm. So all of these storms that we're watching here in the Atlantic Basin are basically fish storms. They're not going to go toward the United States, really. They're not going to be any impacts towards the United States. This one here, if it forms within the next 2 days, 20% chance, 7 days in the next has a 20% chance. This would kind of go off here toward parts of the northern Atlantic Basin and then maybe up towards Nova Scotia. So we'll keep an update on that. This one could potentially get named. We'll just kind of watch and see. Then we've also got an area of circulation that's starting to develop off the East Coast here as well. This would also go towards the Atlantic Basin here, and we'll watch that as well. Now, the other two that we're watching, they're a little bit closer to home here. I'll pull up the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean Sea so you guys can see this here. This is the one that we've been talking about for a while. We've actually got some marine warnings, and these are actual water spouts that could be ongoing off the coast of the Louisiana area here. But we've had a lot of rainfall. Over a foot of rainfall is falling from Houston, Galveston, Texas area all the way towards New Orleans, and that's going to continue to add up with these rainfall totals over the next 2 to 4 days. We'll talk about that here in just a second, but the National Hurricane Center giving this another area of potential development, 10% chance in the next 2 days, 10% chance in the next 7 days. I would not rule out this getting up a little bit. This is going to have about a 2 to 3 day window to become something. Some of the models do have that tightening on a spin happening. We'll just kind of see what that does, and I'll kind of show you guys that here on a couple models here in just a minute. And we've also got another area to watch here. 0% chance in the next 2 days, 30% chance in the next 7 days, and this by far would be the one that we were talking about, and we've been talking about it over the last couple of days. That was over here near the Lesser Antilles, and this is actually that area of disturbance that will be moving through the Yucatan and into the Gulf of Mexico here in Bay of Campeche here over the next couple of days. So we'll see what happens, and the models actually have this kind of stalled out here next week and then possibly bringing impacts into the United States. We'll talk about that if that does happen. And then our newer area to watch also here off the Pacific Ocean. This is off the coast of Mexico. This one could bring impacts towards Baja California. A lot of the models kind of have a wiggle going towards the Baja, California Bay area here. This is something we're going to have to watch, and this could actually bring some moisture into Mexico and into Texas later next week if that does take a right-hand turn. So we got a lot to talk about as far as the tropics over the next couple of days. We're going to continue to update you guys on this. There's a lot of areas to watch. Not a lot of severe weather, so we're not going to be super busy talking about severe weather, which would be a great thing. I do want to show you guys the overall satellite imagery of what we've got going on across the United States right now. We actually do have a marginal risk for severe weather today. Once again, explaining in yesterday's video, severe weather is going to stay a very, very minimal conversation. We're not going to have a lot of severe weather over the next couple of days, which is good news. That gives us time to breathe, kind of get ready for the fall severe weather season, the winter severe weather season, and then also continue to watch the tropics. So we got a marginal risk over in Albuquerque, Santa Fe along Interstate 25 and Interstate 40. So just going to be mindful, pea-sized hail to 2-inch hail possible, and then we'll have a damaging wind threat up to 60 miles an hour with that. Now, one other thing that's the biggest conversation here is going to be all of this rain that's falling here. Look at all of these brighter greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. Flash flooding is becoming a problem here in Louisiana and into parts of Texas and into Mississippi, Alabama. This is going to ride the coastline here into the mid-Atlantic and then eventually go off the coast of Florida, and then this could become a potential named storm down the road. So that's what we're watching as far as the next couple of days goes. Now, I do want to show you guys the HER model run, and this is going to just give us an idea on where that circulation could develop at 1 and 2, where all the rain is basically going to go. And I want to show you guys over the next 12 to really 24 hours here, you start to see a little bit of a corkscrew tightening spin circulation. Here's what I like to call it. That would be our low developing. If this can become a little bit more defined and potentially even get an invest area to watch, I would not rule out this 10% chance really trying over the next 2 to 3 days of potentially becoming a named storm. I don't think we're going to reach that threshold, but this would be the one to watch. This is what we call these sneaky coastal lows that can redevelop and tap into that warm waters in the Gulf Coast. So just kind of watch this, but we start to see more spin, especially as we get closer to your Friday and into Saturday here. This is going to start to really move its way east and then move inland eventually, with a lot of rainfall into New Orleans, Gulfport, Mobile, Apalachicola, Panama. But this is basically going to have all the water it wants to just kind of ride its way as it gets closer and closer to the western side of Florida. And then we'll talk more about that this weekend once we get closer to that, watching this storm get closer. But the rainfall totals are going to continue to add up. We could see anywhere from, 5 inches to a foot of rainfall from Galveston all the way to Gulfport, Mississippi. So this is something we're going to have to watch. Once again, we'll keep you guys updated on the rainfall totals. If you're in these vulnerable flash flood areas, be mindful. Check your water levels, check your creeks, your rivers, your streams. Make sure you have a flash flood evacuation plan if something does get issued. This is something we'll keep you guys updated on just in case conditions do worsen. Seeing more rainfall as well, just in general along the southeast. We need the rain in this area, so we are getting it, but getting excessive rainfall is not the greatest of options with this, but it's just something we're going to have to watch for you guys. So down here to Savannah, Brunswick, along Interstate 95, we could see some heavy rainfall totals anywhere from 3 to 5 inches, maybe 5 to 8 in some little higher areas. Both for Beaufort, Charleston, Savannah, be mindful of your rainfall totals. Also seeing some rain that could fall up here into parts of the Ohio Valley, into the Northeast over the next 48 hours. We're going to have our big cold shot of air that's finally going to come down with a bowling ball trough ejection here. And this is actually going to lead to a little bit of severe weather tomorrow in Kentucky, Southern Illinois, and Indiana. In Ohio, this could help the potential for some damaging wind and some small hail, not expecting any tornadoes or any of that. Now, if you're up here in Michigan, we have the chance to see some water spouts. We're going to have that low that's centered at just over the eastern side of Michigan, and this could actually bring some cold air funnels down that could reach down and become water spouts. This is water spout season for the Great Lakes up in Chicago and into parts of Michigan, so be mindful of that. If you're out there and you like water spouts, obviously take pictures and stuff from a safe distance, but this is that time of the year where we see these lows that drop down and they actually can produce water spouts over the lake. So really, really cool phenomenon that happens with that once that setup does officially get going. And I can actually kind of show you guys what we're looking like that over the next 12 to 24 hours here with that. And this is what the HER's got. You got some storms that could fire off along that cold front. Once this comes down, we could see storms tomorrow, seeing that chance for severe weather from Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky through Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, back up into Cleveland, Ohio, and then this system would push out. But watching any type of, cells that could fire off here on that back side of the low, we'll have that counterclockwise spin. So anything off the Great Lakes here could produce, like I said, a water spout. So that's something we're going to have to watch for you guys. Now, let's go talk about the overall pattern here and just what we're going to be seeing in general over the next couple of days here. And here's going to be our upper level jet stream. This is going to be where our highs, our lows are controlled at, just where is the activity happening at. And this is actually right here. This is going to be our mega trough ejection that comes down and brings that cold shot of air for much of the mid-Atlantic, southeast, Ohio Valley, and upper Michigan Peninsula, and into the Northeast. And this is what's going to cause a little bit of that severe weather down here today into parts of New Mexico and into southern Colorado. And this could bring the severe weather threat once again for tomorrow into parts of Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. Now watch that big dip in the jet stream. It starts to advance down here as we get towards Friday, Thursday night into Friday. That'll bring the cold shot of air. I would not rule out somebody seeing snow flurries up here in Canada, in the far northern UP Michigan Peninsula here on Saturday and Sunday with that cold air. Depending on how cold that air officially is once it comes down here, a lot of people could see their first frost up in Canada this year. Just be mindful of that as far as plants, cropping, harvesting goes, all of that stuff. But what you start to notice as we get into next week, not seeing any active pattern once again. So it looks to be next week we're going to have another potential setup where we don't have anything going on, which would give us all a break as far as that severe weather goes. Now, as we get closer throughout next week, we're going to have to watch out for more of a zonal jet stream. Then we could get a low pressure system that possibly could produce maybe some severe weather as we get towards the end part of next week, possibly up here into the northern plains, into the Rockies. This is something we'll keep you guys updated on. If any of that does change, we'll let you know. And then, you know, possibly starting to see the impacts of maybe even that potential tropical system work its way towards Baja or even the coastline of Mexico. And then we start to see more of a different pattern setup where maybe more of these trough ejections that could start to set up as we get closer to the later and middle part of September. Now, one more thing I want to show you guys real quick is going to be those rainfall precipitation totals here over the next, let's do 7 to 10 days here, just so we can kind of give you guys an idea on what we're going to be seeing here with the tropical moisture, just in everything in general. And this is an idea of what we could see just through Monday, seeing the bulk of that rainfall down here. If you're along the coastline in Louisiana, you got to be mindful of these rainfall totals. Anywhere from 8 to 12 plus inches of rainfall could fall. Back into the Carolinas, parts of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and Florida, we could see anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rainfall, 5 to 8 in local higher amounts if those storms do kind of stall over top of you. But the overall picture for much of the United States, with the exception of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley, seeing rainfall over the next 5 to 10 days, with the Western Pacific Central Plains seeing less of anything, more of an upper level ridge, dry pattern, heat wave ongoing over in California as well, expecting those triple-digit temperatures to excess for the next 6 to 10 days. But other than that, guys, not a lot going on. So we'll keep you guys updated on the tropics. We'll keep you guys updated on severe weather and the overall pattern going through the next couple of days. I don't think that the video conversations will change much unless something bizarre happens over the next 24 to 48 hours with the models. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. I appreciate y'all for watching. Stay safe, be weather aware, and we will see you guys in the next one.